A lot of times when my friends and I go out to photograph and film cars, we test them in advance. Sometimes we don't, sometimes we do to try to get familiar with the cars. A lot of times if it's an older car, I try to give it a test drive and run and what have you before I drive it on camera. But this beautiful 1958 Jaguar XK150 drop-it coupe was not one of those cases where I got the chance to drive it before I got to the camera, because it was undergoing a 8-month engine full overhaul, restoration, rebuild. So it sat at the shop for a long while, and then it got a brand new top as well. So I never got that chance. The only chance I got was pick it up in the morning, bring it straight to set where we were going to be filming. And I had very low expectations on how a car like this would drive, mainly because I've driven a 55 Gullwing and a 68 Maserati Mexico. I was kind of, in a way, a little bit disappointed with those. Yes, I know a lot of guys are going to be saying, oh, look at you driving a SL Gullwing and not liking it, but it's a 55 car. It is not what you would expect it to be compared to more modern cars and what have you. It's a bit of a difficult car to drive. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful. You sit in it, looks like an airplane cockpit. However, this morning when I sat in it, I drove and I got on the road, I was very positively surprised about the fact of how fast and easy it is to drive this car. And if you don't take my word for it, my own photographer friend did that as well, and I told him to go around for a spin. You see how easy it is to drive, and he was very surprised as well. It's just, it rumbles well, it drives well, it handles well, a lot faster than what I would expect for a 1958 car. So I was going into it this morning, I'm like, oh, we're gonna have problems with overheating. It's 100 degrees here in the valley. We're gonna have all sorts of issues, but luckily we didn't, and the car had kept really well. And everywhere I've been driving today, I've been getting thumbs up or honking at us and what have you. This amazing, beautiful drop-it coupe, white on black 1958 Jaguar, belongs to my great friend and client, Steve. He commissioned me to represent it for him about 8 or 9 months ago. Originally, I had purchased it with the notion that the car was running. I guess there was a miscommunication between him and the previous owner he bought it from, and the car was not running at all. He told me that it only needs a battery and fresh fuel. That was not the case. The engine had a knocking sound in it, and subsequently it came down to rebuilding the entire engine from the ground up and have it worked on so it could be back to tip-top shape again. On top of that, we did a full service on it and a brand new top to make this car come to where it is now, which is a turnkey 100% beautiful 58 Jag. XK150 was announced by Jaguar replacing the 120 and the 140 in 1957, and the production ran from 1957 to 1961. A large majority were made into full hardtop coupes. About 2,600 or so cars were made into drop-head coupes, which is the convertible with the weather protection, as they call it. And about 2,000 or so were made into full-on roadsters, 2-seater roadsters. And those are the more valuable of the bunch. They made less of them, and they had more beautiful lines. And in 1959, late 59, early 60 and 61, the 3.4 liter engine was upgraded to a 3.8 liter engine. This beauty has a 5-speed manual transmission, and I was actually very surprised on how easy it is to drive. The convertible top is very easy mechanism. You just unlock it, you unbutton the surroundings, just easily drop it down, put the cover on, roll the windows down. And to my greatest surprise, I honestly didn't think it would be that way. It has a push start button. Imagine 1958, you turn the key and you push the button for start. I honestly thought that was a modern thing, but I guess I was very, very wrong, and I'd be the first to admit that. The beautiful body line design is absolutely magnificent and beautiful. This car obviously was restored at some point in its life. Not sure exactly when. I'm going through some of the notes. I have a very fun and interesting little notebook that one of the owners had. I think he had it in the 70s, 80s, and 90s before he sold it off. And he had noted the engine, the serial number of the car, the engine number of the car, the body, and it's set here, the speedo was set to 0 miles in January 11th, 1994. It has been restored. This is so little cute little thing here. He had it and wrote all that. It was restored in 1994. Obviously, this is a true mileage unknown car, so being 64 years old, it's sort of a given. In 1970, the odometer had about 2,000 miles. It's all here. I'm going to photograph it and put it up for you. And after the work, the car was stored and not driven until 1994. So according to this really old note here, it sat for 24 years. And then once again, it was refurbished in July of that year, 94. It was painted, the fender wells, undercoated, body clean, treated. It was treated for rust, primer, acrylic white 8000. These are the handwritten notes, painted tire walls. A lot of really nice notes that he wrote. The service records I have, if you don't count this one, go back to about 76, 77. Before that, I'm not sure where it may have been. I'll try to dig, and I will get the Jaguar heritage certificate for the car to make sure that it's an engine matching number, engine, transmission, and the body all came from the factory together. Overall, it is a drop dead gorgeous drop head coupe car, and I'm very surprised and pleasant, and it's so much fun to drive. We're here to present this on auction for you. Hopefully it'll go to a new great custodian. It was recently worked on, everything's perfect, and it's ready to go to the next home. There are so many great Jaguar experts out there, so I'm not going to stand here and say too much because I'm not a Jaguar expert. I've done my research, I've learned a little bit, but I would love for the actual ultra experts to come in and chime in on the comments and teach me a lot more than I can know. The only good friend that I have who has a Jaguar XK150, I believe, or 140, Mr. Daniel Rapley, and he inherited that car from his father. He has taught me a little bit about these cars. But what an amazing, beautiful driving machine, and gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous lines. Thank you very much. I wish you the best of luck with the bidding, and I'll see this car through to the next custodian. My name is Alex Cartier with Cartiology and Evoco Photography and what have you. We're here to present this car. We are going to start the car. Starts on a dime.